But you know, in Israel, there is controversy. As soon as you say something, there's one person who disagrees, and then he lets you know about it. And so I said, whoever would like to leave the auditorium is welcome. Nobody left. And I said, we are going to play for you. And except for 2 members, the entire orchestra also played. I have to say that. 2 members who were survivors of concentration camp, they said, look, we just can't play this. So forgive us. So there was no problem with that. But one person stood up and said, you will not play Wagner. So as soon as he said that, somebody, of course, replies. Then starts the commotion. And then it died down, and I started this music, which for about at least 3 or 4 minutes has a very quiet, tranquil beginning. It's full of tension, but it is not, the surge comes later. So during this very quiet start of Wagner's prelude, the arguments went on and on. And they died down when the orchestra crescendo took place. And when we finished the Liebestod, we finished it with a triumph, really. People stood up. But we got the message that there are people, and we haven't tried it since. And my friend Daniel Barenboim tried it about 10 years or 12 years later, also after the concert, also with the discussion with the public, and it didn't go very well, because there are still people who are sitting there with numbers on their arms. And it's not that they are against the music of Wagner. They don't want to be transported back to the period of terror. And, you know, the argument is, well, why don't they buy Mercedes-Benz and Volkswagen? But music really transports. And the spirit of Wagner, that those people were subjected to listen to in the camps, and they don't want to be transported back, and we have to respect that. So we are not playing it at the moment. But I have to make it clear that the Israeli government has never passed any sort of a legislation against playing of Wagner. Never. No, there has been no.
Well, there's no censorship in general, right?
No. Not. In fact, the Israeli radio, the state radio, has been playing Wagner even before we did.
Really?
Yeah.
And yet there was a controversy about the orchestra.
And then we polled our subscribers, and 86% said we should play it, but we still didn't. We have to. Once I was stopped by a policeman late at night coming home from dinner at somebody's house, and I made a wrong. You know, in California we turn right on a red light, which sometimes I do in Tel Aviv after hours. And the policeman stopped me, recognized me, and he says, "No Wagner."
Did he give you a ticket?
No ticket. No, usually they ask me for a ticket. But he told me, he said, "My father, number here." So this broke my heart, really. Little occurrences like that convinced me this is not the right time to do it. We have to respect them.
Zubin, what do you see as the future for the Israeli Philharmonic?
Grim.
Why is that?
Wir haben kein Geld. The Israeli government support diminishes every year. Suzanne Ponsett would know better than me about these statistics, but I think the present Minister of Culture, when our managing director phoned her, said, "Can I come and see you with the orchestra committee?" She said, "If you're going to come to ask me for money, don't bother." This is the attitude. They don't, or they profess they don't have the money for us. So it is thanks to you. Thanks to you, and many like you, the rest of America, Europe, Australia, England. We are very fortunate that through the subscriptions, through ticket sales, we gather more of a percentage than American orchestras do. Because American orchestras pay their musicians more. That's why When I was with the New York Philharmonic, the Philharmonic earned 40% of its budget from ticket sales.
And what's the Israeli?
And Israeli, Suzanne, is about 60%? 65%. But, and the government gives us about 8%. The rest are your big hearts. And for this we are very grateful. And we can keep on being grateful. And we are very grateful to people like Fimichka, who played tonight. You know, he rehearsed with me all afternoon, Bartok's second piano concerto, which is no easy little cantabile piano playing. And to play this, are you there, Fima? No, he left. He has a concert tomorrow. To play that Tchaikovsky sonata, and I'm telling you, I didn't know I had to come to the great city of Santa Monica to hear a piece by Tchaikovsky for the first time. Because I've never heard that sonata, and neither of you. I don't know any pianist who plays it.
Nobody plays it.
Horowitz didn't play it, because that's kind of Horowitz type of technical virtuoso masterpiece. I must say, I was very thrilled.
Right.
And there are. Midori-san is here. She plays for us. Midori, do you remember? You played at Lord and Taylor once? With glasses. Little, I think she was 10 years old. She played Paganini, Caprice.
So
I'm very blessed with having friends like Midori and Fima. Fima and Shlomo Mintz played their audition for me when they were 11 and 12 together at the same time, one after the other. And when Maxim came from Russia, he was sitting outside with his parents. We just finished a rehearsal with Isaac Stern. And they said, there's this Russian boy who wants to play for you.
Mm-hmm.
It was just after the Scud War. And Isaac was there, you know, volunteering to play, raising money, of course. And I said, Isaac, let's listen to this Russian kid. And we both said, well, this is something. Mm-hmm. And we were going to do a tour of America, raising money for actually not for the Philharmonic, for the state funding after the Scud War. And I took him with me. And he made a sensation in every city we went to. And so I'm blessed having been introduced to this young talent, to these, and I heard a little girl last November when I was there, 9 years old. She played Haydn's concerto. You cannot teach a person to play that beautifully. You cannot. What came out of this 9-year-old girl, her feet hardly touched the pedals. She's, unbelievable. And there are so many like that, so many in Israel.